Hey guys, I want to do a video on the Titan slash Colossus boss that was previously bugged, and I have effectively proven to myself through the testing today that the bug is fixed. For the purposes of testing, I used a 0% evasion, 0% block, unfortunately 4% PDR just due to the nature of the gear that happened to be on the character. I do have my shield off to get rid of all my block, and we're looking at 36, almost 4K EHP character. So what do we need to know about this boss? What we need to know is that the forward thrust, at the end of the thrust, has a point of impact where all the projectiles will splice off the end of it. And this is what is killing people. If you get hit by this forward thrust at the point of impact, you get shotgunned by every single projectile. And if you're fighting this boss on par in the campaign, you're probably dead. Right now I'm an Act 3 Cruel on a level 80 character. Again, 4K EHP effectively, and this thing does a lot of damage. If I put my shield back on, I can block a good amount of the projectiles, and we can kind of see exactly how it works a little bit better. But I did want to demonstrate a little bit more closely what would happen to a character in the campaign. For the purposes of testing, it is important that everyone understands that while there is a forward slash, there is also a drag that he does. And they're not the same. You can't consider the damage done by the drag to be the same as the forward slash. As you saw in that instance, if you back up from the point of impact, you only get hit by the projectiles. And because the projectiles spread out, you don't take them all, you don't get shotgun, you may not get one shot. Obviously, if you're on a weaker character, you probably still will. The other thing I noticed is if you go forward, the actual swipe part of the thrust doesn't really do much at all. This ability is significantly baited at this range, which just so happens to also be the range that you're going to get one shot. So how do we combat this? The way you combat this boss as a ranged player is to always fight on the left-hand side of your screen or his right, essentially his sword arm. If you play up here, that ability can never hit you, and you have all, because it always goes down. This is not because of my minions. You can test this on other abilities. You will tank this ability quite often if you play up here, but you should be fine with that, assuming your character is relatively well built. Again, he's going to move. We're going to keep with him and go around, and the rule will stay true. You will never be in danger of the forward thrust. If you're a melee player, just get into melee. There's really not much else to it. You fight him in here, and, maybe you would have tanked that. You'll take some damage from things like this, right? And when he does his stabbing the ground ability, this one here, you'll probably tank one hit of it. You'll have to health pot through it, but that's fine. You can do that as a melee and have no issues. Those are the two ways I know of to combat this boss that, for me, through my testing, work 100% of the time. I've had zero issues. I've been doing this all morning, testing the different variables that you could have on this boss. And essentially, the end result is that the problem with this ability and what is confusing most players is this. If you are hit by this ability at this point of impact, and you tank the full shotgun of all the projectiles, any normal, reasonable character in the campaign is going to get one shot by the ability. Is it possible that this ability is overtuned and GGG may look at it and look at nerfing the actual numbers on the ability? That is a possibility. I don't know how they want to balance their game. What I can confirm, though, is that this does not appear to be a bug. The previous bug, like I said, is, as far as I can tell, fixed. Because what was happening before was that these projectiles were just being placed on your character regardless of your character position. So there was no way to dodge it. You just sometimes got, right? You would move over here and it would still get you. Even as you can see in just that example, just getting forward a little bit gets me ahead of the point of impact. And I only take a little bit of the swipe, which is almost negligible damage. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this kind of clears up some of the confusion on this fight and, helps people get through it. And they're not, especially hardcore characters, aren't losing their characters to this ability anymore. Yeah, that's really all I've got. Just that, like I said, either get forward as a ranged player, get up on the left, or as a melee, get into melee and fight him. This ability can't get you if you're following those rules. Yeah. Have a good one, guys.